We have entered a recession. Bank policies on interest rates do not help the economy, and your capital is in danger. All these scenarios, however, bring opportunities. Let's analyze how successful people can act in these times of risk with the ability to make decisions that can change your life and your perspective forever. Now, being broke is what makes you really good with money, but we need to take into consideration hypotheses to have a clear view. The skills you have are the only things nobody can take from you, neither the government nor the bank. They will always be part of your life, and for this reason, you should never underestimate them. They are the only ones who are paying your current earned income and will be the only ones you can draw from to take the next step in your finances and in your life. There are rich people who pretend to be rich, showing it publicly. Then there are the rich, those who really can be considered it, who have less desire to spend money on futile things, or rather think and act from a perspective in which they find ways to buy things or invest by leveraging as little as possible with money out of their own pocket. And this is always very interesting to watch. Those who have valid intentions to improve their lives and change their relationship with money, wealth, and well-being should take inspiration from it. The number of people who feel they are broke is growing, and they are inclined to complain about the lack of money, but many of them do not miss the needs that today's society acclaims. Travel, cars, electronic products that they can't afford, they go to show them, make them public, even if only to maintain their social status defined by friends and society. Now, as for years, as soon as the money set aside increases, let's say $40,000 to $50,000, the first idea that arises is to buy a home, and there is nothing wrong with that. Let's consider a house worth $400,000. To open a mortgage, let's assume that the bank asks for 10%, therefore, of $40,000 of your savings. Now, let's consider that on average, you have a gross income of $50,000 a year, and it takes you 7 years to set aside $40,000. In this scenario, it will be more difficult to think about starting your own side hustle or finding other capital to invest, or at least you will have your own house, a huge commitment for years that will take away resources that can be used differently. Now it's just a matter of perspective and necessity. If you think you want something different and have another vision for your life, we can move on. The scenario you can think of is to look around a business online or physically. You have skills that you think are valid or that need to be put into practice. You want a second income, and maybe the capital you have set aside can help you. You found a business that makes about $100,000 a year and the owner wants to sell it. Let's say that the business is sold for 3 times its annual turnover of around $300,000 and you already have the list of customers, perhaps licenses already available, equipment, or the premises, if it is a physical business. So a big critical gap is already being filled. The idea would be to negotiate the deal with the seller. You can try it, and let's say you reach an agreement to put up $100,000 immediately and $200,000 in a year. It is not difficult to find an agreement. There are entrepreneurs who, for various reasons, want to get rid of their business. What can you do? You can use this capital that you have set aside to take out a loan. It certainly seems risky, but I would like you to think objectively also because we are hypothesizing scenarios. People have what they have because they have been rewarded for their sacrifices, for the risks they have taken by moving and making ideas concrete, by putting them into practice. Now let's not put down detailed figures in this video. I want you to enter a new perspective, which is the common one of successful people, who, with the necessary analyses and checks, are willing to accept a certain risk and make weighty decisions that the average worker is not willing to accept. Let's imagine that you are a nutritionist. You have a lot of knowledge, so you address the sector that sells healthy, gym, vegan, and vegetarian food products that are very fashionable these days. You find a physical store that also has an e-commerce site. The owner has decided to sell his business due to a divorce or other life change. This is a scenario that could absolutely arise. You already have customers, a business, let's say, that has started that needs updates and modifications, and your knowledge is right for you. What limits you is accepting the business risk, thinking that the money you've put aside for years is hard-earned money, but it's the same money you wanted to put into a home purchase mortgage that won't bring you any extra income. Instead, the business, let's say, generates $100,000 a year. You bought it, and suddenly your annual income, even indicatively, increased. Add to your average annual income of $50,000 that of the acquired business. Let also down is $70,000. So you already have $150,000 plus $70,000 equals $120,000 a year. So you have expertise in savings that are working for you. This logic is extremely important because we have mentioned that no one can deprive you of your skills and knowledge, not even economic and financial crisis. You just have to look at everything from other points of view. Surely you have heard of entrepreneurs who became rich, lost everything, got back into the game again from scratch, and won again. They managed to cross the line of success again. They put into practice what they learned from past attempts. It is strange to say it, but you only should have to get rich once. Because rich people are more risk tolerant, they also accept higher risks. They understand the game, how it works, and are willing to participate. The downside risk of losing everything is always there. A different perception of who has less money or is broke. This is because those who are successful or have tried have a history of 10 to 20, 30 years of decisions. But even if you have a business worth $100 million or $1 billion, a bad decision or a bad investment can bring your business to zero. There will always be things that can happen, so you have to accept the risk. It's part of your daily life, and you just have to extend it to other scenarios of your decisions. The rich have combined analysis, knowledge, skills, and initial capital with each other and have added the secret ingredient, the acceptance of risk. It is a change of perspective that takes time to acquire. But if you change your perspective or at least get started, there are only opportunities. There are entrepreneurs around who are fed up with their business for various reasons and are willing to sell it. You just have to roll up your sleeves and clear your head by searching, finding, and asking. All you need to do is materialize your work ethic and your desire for a life change and personal and financial satisfaction. This is what brought you here to this channel. There is nothing wrong with thinking about generating more money for yourself if done with ethics and transparency. Think about how the person who achieved the success he wanted acted and thought. Following the logic of this video, the rich buy things and ironically invest for $0, but with huge growth margins maybe in years because they intend to go beyond the comfort line. If you think about it, average people accept the risk of buying the lottery ticket or the latest cryptocurrency hoping it will change their life, but the percentages are negligible with high risk and low reward. Rich people find things, businesses that can never go to zero and buy them cheap. Let's summarize. You have money put aside and you want an income boost or a change of life. Most people think of buying their first home, new car, property, or investment as low risk and low reward. Successful or formerly wealthy people who are willing to take the risk of big decisions, a risk value for a high reward, and aren't afraid to lose everything and start from scratch. This is because they put into practice knowledge, experience, skills. All things that everyone can acquire and that no one can take away. There are people willing to sell their businesses for many reasons, and you can negotiate and buy a business for free or, to put it in simple terms, at a discount, which can take you to the other side of the line, the one you started to visualize. What you need to do is work on your perspective, be aware of your abilities, analyze the scenarios they present to you, be willing to be more tolerant of risks, act by making decisions, and put ethics and hard work into it. Many have succeeded, and you can, by sacrificing something, probably also work hard on your way of thinking, perhaps not changing it entirely but adapting it and deviating from the common thinking that society continues to promote as the best way for everyone. While you've reached the end of the video, if you are interested in learning more about similar topics, here you will find other really interesting videos from the channel. Thanks for watching this video. Click on the like button if you enjoyed it, and do not forget to subscribe in case you didn't. See you on the next one.